I'm good. I'm alive. How are you?
Same. It's kind of a weird question. Like everyone's like, "How are you during quarantine?" It's like, well, how am I supposed to be? The world's on fire. But I'm fine in my house. Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I was just texting somebody saying that I feel like the quarantine, how are you, is actually more like, are you good? Like, are
Yeah.
you okay? Like, rather than being
Yeah.
like, how are you? Yeah.
Yeah. And there's like levels of like, it depends who asks. Is like, what answer you want to give them, depending on who the person is. Like, do you really want to know how I am, or is this like small talk?
I know, exactly.
Yeah.
But how are you? Oh my God, I did not realize you could put sensors on yourself. Sorry,
I
I'm
am
discovering.
good. I did it right before. I was like playing with it. I'm like, I wonder what I can do. I'm always so
Probably
close to the
perfect.
camera too, so it's always awkward. I'm always like,
Like
hi
that.
guys. And then I always get comments like, don't be so close to the camera. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm
You're
not.
like, let me look closely at your comment. That's funny.
Yes, exactly. So thanks for going live with me to talk about your song and being in our trailer.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you so much for going live with me. I'm so excited to speak to you for the first time. Basically, like,
yes,
nice to meet you.
nice to meet you. I know it's such a weird world where we all feel like we like know each other, but we don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got some questions. I'll try not to be too boring, so we'll just kind of like rip off
You could
them.
never be boring.
So first, can you describe "We Belong" in 3 facial expressions or words?
Oh, facial expressions. That's hard. I'm also, this is so stupid because I'm an actor, but I get really self-conscious on camera. Like if I'm holding it, I'm like, oh God. Um, I don't know. Facial expressions, that's hard. Maybe like a cheeky wink and then like a kissy face and then I don't know. Oh God, I'm too much of a cringe to do this. Okay, 3 words. I would say like
Yeah, words.
cheeky, romantic, sexy.
Good,
Those would be my
good.
3.
I feel like those words translate over to "After We Collided" as well.
I was gonna
It was,
say, will you
yeah, the
describe We
lyrics.
Collided in 3 words?
I would say intense, sexy, and probably I'm gonna steal cheeky from you.
This is a
Um,
good
it,
one.
yeah, I mean, even reading the lyrics, like typically when you get just for the process, like to bore people for a second, is when you get a song and they're like, "Oh, this is gonna work for your movie or your soundtrack or this," and you're like, "Okay, probably not." And then I
Yeah.
heard the lyrics and I was like, "Wait a second, it feels like." She wrote it for the movie, which isn't necessarily the case, but it's so hand in hand with what we're talking about and the messiness of relationships. I think we're in this time where everyone is so hyper focused on everything everyone's doing, but
Yeah.
relationships are messy and complicated. And the song and the movie both talk about the messy parts. If you want to talk for a sec about just like kind of peeling off the layers of the everybody's happy and everybody's in love and really talking about the messiness of relationships.
Yeah, it's a hard one because, relationships are so interpersonal, obviously, and so varied and different from, one person in a relationship. The next time they're in a relationship, it's entirely different, even if it's that same one person. So I feel like, so much of it is chemistry, chemical, and then like your own individual, that individual. I have such a hard time speaking about sort of like more intense relationships, which is kind of the only relationships I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
Because it's just really hard. It's like unless you're in that relationship, you can't always relate or understand fully. But I think that a lot of relationships, especially when people are young, and especially
Yeah.
when you have sensitive people and when you have artists, but again, especially when you're young, like I don't know almost anybody who, peer-wise and friend-wise, who hasn't been in like a really intense, hot and cold, highly romantic, push and pull kind of relationship. Um, and yeah, I mean, I think by nature they're really messy.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I pretty much only write about really messy relationships with, which obviously opens up a lot of criticism. But, if people were writing and making music and making movies about just two perfect people not making any mistakes, we wouldn't really have any art. So I like reading about and watching more messy kind of relationships. And they, you know, they're people when you're young. It's so, I've literally been married like half of my life. So sometimes I forget how like that young love and like crazy, like every little thing you hang on every word and every fight is this big thing. And I think people forget that. And so songs like We Belong and movies like After We Collided and just tons of other Normal People, like all of these great things show the realness. Are you finding yourself, I'm going to skip around because now I feel like I don't need the questions, but are you finding yourself more, is it harder to create during quarantine, or is it easier, or is it both? Is it up and down?
I mean, I don't know about you because obviously you are also, I write songs and you write incredible books. I mean, so my only real creating that I can do from home is writing. I'm not skilled with like Pro Tools or what's the new one, like Ableton or whatever. People are gonna be like, that's not what it is. But I'm not skilled with actually producing my own music at home yet.
Yeah.
And I kind of, I guess, I don't know about you, but I anticipated lockdown to be more, like I thought it was going to be more, I was going to be like, wow, I'm really in my creative juices.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what else is there to do except be a creative genius? And then like,
Yeah.
you're a real person and you're like, I'm bored, I'm tired, I'm, you know,
Anxious. I've been
so
going through like
anxious.
the plethora of emotions.
Sorry, I live above the busiest street in the world, and I'm always like, nobody can ever hear me because there's always loud cars. Um, yeah. So I feel like I'm definitely writing and being creative. Not as much as I had thought, but also this, you can't plan for this. Like this
Yeah,
is so hard
no.
on everyone.
Yeah, and every day is different. A lot of my friends who are in creative industries, whether it's writing or acting or anything, they're like, I feel like we all kind of set ourselves up in the beginning of quarantine of like, okay, we're on lockdown. We got this. We're going to do all these things. And it's like, there's so much happening in the world that it's just, it was kind of a naive gesture that we all, and a very ambitious thing of like, I thought, oh, I'm going to write. I've actually been able to spend time with my family a lot more than usual because usually I have to go on book tours and all these things, which I love doing, but my son has special needs. And so any time with him is like very special and very sacred. And I travel so much and stuff. So it was really, I feel very selfish in the way that quarantine has been good for me in that way. I don't, it's such a complicated thing because I thought, you know, I'm going to write 3 books. I'm going to be so inspired. I'm going to write one about this. And then I saw some authors like literally writing whole books, and then you compare yourself to other people, and it's just like a cycle and a spiral of anxious, like anxiety. So it's been pretty complicated. I don't know if we're allowed to say, but I'll just say it anyway. You have another song in the movie. So it's not only the trailer, it's the infamous shower scene that everyone is really excited for. You have another song there, which I don't think I can say which one it is, but I'm sure people can maybe guess and figure it out. But yeah, I think our time is almost up. So if you want to say anything else or ask anything else, it was nice chat to like see your face and talk.
I'm curious. Whose team are you on? Are you on team Trevor or team Harden or
I'm on
team Tessa?
I'm more of a team Tessa right now. I'm definitely more team Tessa, especially where the story is. I'm definitely more of a team Tessa. I love Harden. I love Trevor, but Tessa's got to figure it out on her own really before she can really be with anyone. All of them. That's the kind of beauty of this messy relationship, is that it's up and down and all over the place. And it's that idea that you can't change someone by loving them. They have to really change overall. And in the second installment, the characters aren't quite there yet. So for now, I'm team Tessa until everybody gets their shit together.
Right. Yeah. What a beautiful thing. And also, like, God, is there nothing more true than that? Like, you can't love someone for the potential. They gotta meet you there.
Yes. It never works. Like, we can write all the books and all the things we want and all the songs with happy endings, but in reality, people have to want to be better, or you can't love them through it. Like, I love that message, even though it's sad and it's not romantic, but it's just real life of people are messy, and you know, you don't always have to love someone at their worst to love them. It's like sometimes you will be brought down to your worst for them. And then after Tessa loses herself a lot in Hardin, and she is aware of it, but she just can't stop it. Like, it's literally like she just cannot help herself, and he can't help himself. And it's just so much intensity without spoiling anything. So I'm glad.
I think we've all been there relationship wise.
Yes. I mean, even though I've been married a long time, we've had like, it feels like we've been with multiple versions of each other.
Well,
So
you must.
like,
You've been together for ages.
We've evolved so much that it's like every few years we're like different versions of ourselves, and there's kinks you have to work out. It's not quite as messy as what I'm writing necessarily, but it's you know, we belong together, as corny as I'll be. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And for your support. And we cannot wait to see, I know the fans are going to die over the shower scene with your song in it and the trailer with your music. So thank you again. Thanks for being cool. And,
thanks so much for taking me. You're so cool.
Yeah, thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
Have a great rest of your day. Okay, bye guys. Bye. Nice to meet you.